Hey everybody, so I have not been on here in like so long. A lot's gone on. I always struggle with what I should share, what I should kind of keep to myself, because I don't believe that everyone needs to be privy to all information. And I definitely believe that when people need to know certain things, they will come upon the information that they're looking for. That being said, there are some things that I will approach from a perspective of my experience and what I have learned. Sorry, what I have learned, um, and what I can speak from my background and talk about. All right. So that being said, I saw in my comments that someone asked me to do more videos. I really hadn't even thought about doing anything else, but some of the topics that she had were really interested. So I got like an hour before I have to go to a meeting. So I'll get through a couple of them. All right. So some of them I think I added as well. One was the spirit world. Um, in my experience, it's kind of like a beyond. It's still, I wouldn't say here as in earth here, but it's very close. I kind of think of it as like the Akashic Records. It's not a physical place. It's in everything and all around us. Um, that is my experience of it. Um, there are some, I want to say spirits or souls, but I'm coming to believe that that is not the best definition for what I mean. There are some energy sources that are, if you think of the earth as having like a globe around it, okay? A globe that is not supposed to be there, but it is there. And there are starting to be like cracks in the globe. So there are powers outside of the globe that want to come in and help us. And there are things that are in places that are within the globe, but not close to a crack or can't find a crack that are kind of stuck here. Um, I have some theories on what that's all about. If you want to look into the demiurge or anything like that, I try not to be religious in any of my leanings. But that's a good place to start if you're interested in what something like that might be. But anyway, so there are spirit souls, sources of energy that are within the globe, and there are some that are outside. There are lots that are just around in the air, like dust particles, like they're all around. Uh, Shoot, I'll go ahead and jump into the Akashic Records. Everyone makes it seem like it's a place that you have to get access to or whatever. The Akashic Records is in everything. It's, are you ticklish? If so, are you? Get out of here. It's in everything. So if you do any research or you know anything about neurotransmitters or cellular memory is a good point. So cellular memory is the thought that cells, which is the smallest form of life that can exist by itself, a cell can be, um, some have set things of what they're going to be, whether it's going to be a blood cell, a skin cell, a fat cell, whatever. Then you have stem cells, which can be whatever they want. So think about stem cells like at the absolute power that they would have. They could be anything that you could conceive or think of. All right, that is the basis of the Akashic Records. So anything that has ever been, will ever be, is in the Akashic Records. Us being matter, we have access to those. Us being matter and energy, we have access to those things. So that's how you can have people that can, like how in the Matrix, Neo could learn anything quickly. Akashic Records. What else was on this list? Dreams. Okay. So dreams are, in my opinion, ways to help you deal with whatever you may be going through in life. Because your mind is not working on the same level as it is when you're awake, your dreams are more honest. You know, you can tap into other levels of consciousness or even other dimensions. You can recall lives. You can, like we said, go to other dimensions and astral projection at the same time. So dreams really are there to help you figure out things that are in your subconscious, or things that you need your higher self or spirit guides to help you with. So another thing is crystals. I love crystals because just like with the Akashic Record stuff, everything holds a vibration. Everything has memory and energy in it. So crystals, they have their own vibrations. I mean, they have been on this earth in existence for hundreds of years. So just imagine the energy that's in something that's taken that long to develop, that's taken that long to form into what it is, you know, going back to those stem cells, like that matter became what it was over a long process of time. So imagine the sheer amount of energy that is in that, in the vibration that it holds. So I love crystals for that very reason. Toxic family members. Toxic family members are there to teach you something. Be open to it and love them. You know, it's very hard to argue with people that won't argue back. Why bother? Why exert yourself? They are only toxic if you allow them to be toxic. And that's with everything, you know. Short of killing you, what else can someone do to you? I mean, they can hurt your feelings, but still, that's only if you allow that to happen. And I'm not just speaking like, you know, saying this just for the heck of saying it. I've had family members that I've like totally disowned because it did not serve me to deal with them. And it just is what it is. I mean, like people say, blood doesn't make you family. But in dealing with those people, I learned a lot about myself. And I learned that my well being comes before anything that I think is important to someone else or anyone else, whether that's, oh, blood is thicker than water or whatever. No, blood does not make you family. It makes you related. Black sheep of the family. That's a matter of perspective. I mean, what's wrong with black sheep? They're pretty rare. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being the black sheep of a family. I have come to believe that your ancestors live within you. They're in your DNA. They're in your DNA, so they live within you. So anything that is in your family history, good, bad, indifferent, is within you as well. So for somebody in your family to look at you as the black sheep, you're a part of them. They're a part of you. So that is probably an issue they have with themselves. Whatever issues they're having with you, it's probably ideally something that they have an issue with within themselves. And if you think of yourself as the black sheep of your family, it's something that you need to look at as well. I used to always say that I was the black sheep of my family. No, I'm just me, and all that comes with that. It's not black, it's not white. Some beautiful shade of gray is what it is, and that changes too. Soul tribes. I'm not really familiar with that. I'm thinking that it's like kind of like soul groups. Um, that would go off the premise that all souls came down with a purpose and or from a certain place. I have come to believe that all souls can come from source, whatever you want source to be, God, Buddha, whatever you want source to be, whatever source is for you, that's what it is. You know, the I am that I am, all that there is, all that there ever will be, whatever is immeasurable to you. So if all souls came from there, then we all are one tribe. I used to believe that there were soul tribes. I know that there are certain groups of people that just in my higher self would not feel comfortable around. I think that's more of a physical being thing than a soul thing. Um, it could have been something from a different life. I may have known that energy from another life, and or they did something to me, or I did something to them that made me uneasy. Soul tribes, though, soul groups, I don't prescribe to that line of thinking anymore. I believe that we all came from source and just broke down into little fractals of that, because um, let me retract that for a moment, perhaps. Now, if source is energy, and a lot of the belief is that it's light, and that when you cross into this earth, it's like solid light, concentrated light going through a prism. And when it goes through a prism, it breaks down into all the colors that we know in the rainbow. There may be something to that, you being connected to one of the certain rays. That may be something. Um, I'm human. I'm still learning and growing, as I believe we all should do, because when you're not growing, you're dying. Narcissist. My president's a narcissist. Just is what it is. You need them too. You can learn a lot from them. I will not judge. Um, some people, that's what they came here to experience. They have to learn to balance it out. Everything is necessary, everything is permissible. It is what it is. I don't let them bother me. I entertain them. I laugh. Tarot cards. Um, I've come to I've come to learn and understand that tarot cards work a lot like pendulums, and some people like me who are able to read energies and uh, connect with spirit guides or anything like that. The tarot cards are based on the major arcana. The major arcana are basically the storylines, the plot lines for life. There are 21 of them. There are also 21 doors in the Hermetic teachings. All the doors that you go through lead up to the 21st door. Once you've made it to the 21st door, you're an alchemist. You may learn what the philosopher's stone is made of. But to get to those points, the fool has to make that journey. We're born fools, because it's an experience. You jump out, and you jump out of your mother's womb, and bam, you're here for all of it. The tower falling, the devil, the wheel of fortune. You're here for all of it. It's just the story of life. And if you listen to anything from Joseph Campbell, he tells you about the hero's journey. And if you study religions, which I advise you do, whether you believe in them or not. Listen to the stories, because if you're on this channel or you're looking for anything like this, you'll start to see the commonalities in the stories. And don't look at the allegory, don't look at the don't take it so at face value. Look for the deeper meanings in everything, the hidden teachings, what is not said, and you'll better understand, things like that. Tarot cards, manifesting. Manifesting, what I've learned, you have to be in alignment with what you want. It's like trying to parallel park a car, what I'm horrible at. Okay. Like if you back in and you're jacked up backing in, it's going to take you a lot of back and forth, stirring, turning, looking behind you and all types of ridiculous stuff to get lined up straight. Or you could just leave your butt like, half out of the line, in the street a little bit, on the curb a little bit, but that's not ideal. Manifestation is when you have positioned yourself in such a way and you know exactly where you need to go, the space that you have, and you get in there, bam, bam, you're in there perfectly. You have to be aligned with what you want. When you're aligned with what you want, it's very easy. There are workarounds for that, which I think I will come to in a moment. But for the most part, you have to be aligned with what you want. And you have to know very clearly what it is that you want. Not so much like how people say with the boards and all of that. That really doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't work. It's not the easiest way of doing it. The easiest way of doing it is to feel the feeling that you want to have when you get what you want, or in having what it is that you want to manifest into your life. Feel it. And like they say, fake it until you make it. Make it real. It's not difficult. There's some things that will happen in my life and I'm like, no, that's just not acceptable. And just refusing things going a certain way, it changes, my reality, because there's a lot of things that I'm like, that's just not acceptable. I'm not having that. And since I'm not having it, it cannot manifest in my reality. It's just not going to happen. Like there are times that I'll do oracle card readings for myself. And if something comes up that I don't like, I'll even go so far as to take another card out and put it there, because I'm not taking that. I'm the creator of my destiny. I make my life what I want it to be. So if I don't like it, I'm not going to keep it. You don't have to either. We are source energy in body. How great is that? How great is that? Okay, so like you don't have to accept stuff that you don't want. Don't acknowledge it. Or if you do acknowledge it, let it go. Transmute that energy into what you do want. Become the alchemist, 5D. Oh man, I was on 5D for a little while. It wasn't too long after that video that I made. It's lovely. It's really lovely. It is not it's a state of being more so than anything else right now. It's a state of being. And for me, it's hard to maintain that because you have so many friends and family members, and, you almost have to kind of stay isolated or in a certain group to maintain it, because going to 5D and everything else is on 3D is difficult. It's difficult. I won't lie, it's difficult, but it feels really good. Magic. Magic is awesome. All it is really is the manipulation of matter. And I think the next thing I was going to talk about was alchemy. Ooh, I'm up to 20 minutes almost. I'll make this short. Magic and alchemy. Let's think of it as like stages in development. So you may start off with something like magic, but the end point is for you to realize that it is best to become an alchemist. Magic can get you very far. You can get a lot with magic. You can manifest a lot with magic. But the next thing you need to know how to do is transmute things, change things. Magic can only affect what you are already lined up with. And to say that, I have to also say that when you do magic, this is a disclaimer, when you do magic, if you're not in alignment with what it is that you're doing work for, trust and believe you're going to balance yourself out. Good or bad, you're going to balance yourself out. You're going to come into alignment with what it is that you're asking for. Now, the question is, do you want that to happen? Do you really want what you think it is that you want, and how much are you willing to sacrifice for it? Because when you're not in alignment with something, but you want it, a lot has to be moved and changed to get you to that point. And it is not always smooth sailing. That's why you will see a lot of people that, this is one of the reasons why they'll say that you shouldn't do magic. It's evil or it's bad. Because yes, you do pay. You do pay. When you're not in alignment with something, you don't have that stocked up in the vortex for you. You're asking for something, I don't want to use the word deserve. You're asking for something that was not for you at that time or point, but you want to will it to happen and you want to manipulate to make it happen. Well, my dear, all types of interesting things happen. I know from experience. If you're interested, I might give you a story time about some of that. But that's why I've grown to think of myself more as an alchemist and not trying to transmute lead to gold or any of that, in the stories or, the allegory of things. No, it's really about basically when life gives you lemons, knowing how to make lemonade, or forget it. Let's make a whole margarita, making things into whatever you need them to be or you want them to be with the material that you're given. And as source energy in a body, that is magic. That is the highest level of magic, mental magic. When you're able to use this philosopher's stone here, this third eye, the pineal, when you're able to use that in the material that you have in this body, and being a soul in body, that is the good stuff. Because you're able to then create the life that you want for yourself. And like I said, when I don't think something's acceptable for me in my life, it's not acceptable for me in my life. I don't really have to light a candle anymore. I don't really have to, do so much ritual anymore, because when I set my mind that something needs to go a certain way, it's pretty darn quick and it happens. But that's because I've gone through a lot now. Speaking of the major arcana, I've made it to that 21st card. I've been to hell and back. I mean, I asked a couple of years ago to know that the things that I was believing in were real, or to know what was real, all of that. Because I was, like a lot of people, wondering what is this life about? What is all this stuff that I'm learning? One of my favorite teachers at the time was Bobby Hemmett. And I find it beautiful to see that I just saw the most recent video of his, and he's like basically said, F all the gods and the Orishas and the angels and everything. And I came to that very realization. Like I went through some stuff and I was like, yo, where are y'all? Y'all are not even here. What the after all of this, y'all not even you're not even coming out for your girl. What's the deal? No, that's because if you've seen the show American Gods, it is so real. The gods, we created the gods. There's a creator God, the source, whatever you want to call it. But that is it. And it's not judgy. It's not like all of that stuff, those human qualities that we put on a God. It's none of that. It's none of that. I mean, if you want to say anything, love and light, pure energy, which is neither good nor bad, is everywhere all at once. You know, it is never destroyed, it only changes form. So, I mean, it's crazy that the guy who I watched all of his videos, studied a lot of this stuff, um, a lot of his videos and lectures spent me into like things that I went into and learned. To hear him saying that is just insane. Because if you create something, how can you then look at it and be like, oh, help me? It's like, okay, sure, I'll help you. Give me some more energy. Give me some more. Keep me alive, man. But you don't need any of that. You do not need any of that. I mean, you can use it because I mean it's there and it is real. And I mean, some things will work, but when you really, really, really need something, and a lot of the time it's like the placebo effect. You think that it's the god or the Orisha. Oh man, I'm gonna get some. Whoo, this is gonna be interesting. The comments on this. You think that it's something outside of yourself that is making things happen for you. A lot of times it's just that's just a coincidence, and it is your sheer willpower that did it. And I mean, I would challenge you to just don't believe anything I say. Try it out. Like truly align yourself with what it is you want. Feel it down to your core. And don't make it like something like petty, like, oh, I want a certain amount of money. No, what is it that you truly want? Is it the money or is it the freedom? Is it the freedom to be able to do the things that you need to do? Is it happiness that you really want? Is it peace of mind that you really want? It's not just the money. So you need to think of what is the emotional thing that you really want. What is it really at its core? You know, if you say, oh, I want to be married, okay, is it that you want to be married or you want to feel a certain way with another person? Like that's the thing with manifestation and getting what you want in this life. You have to know exactly what it is. Because it's like if you had a genie and you rub the lamp and you say the genie, what do you wish for? I want $100. Okay, when a daggone $100 of animals come, you aren't specific. If you say you want money, you want to be financially stable, what you really are saying is you want the freedom to do what you want to do and be at peace and happy. Get it down to a feeling, narrow it down to a feeling, feel that feeling, emote it, because that will be what attracts it to you. You can only attract what you are emoting, what you're putting out. All right, I'm going to end this before 30 minutes because I think that is a bit much on a just little catch up. If there's anything else you want to know about or have any questions about that, I only speak from experience in my opinions. So don't take me as like, the expert on anything. I am only the expert on being Adrian. That's all I got for you. But I do being Adrian very damn well. All right, I'm going to get ready to go to this meeting. Have a good day. Bye.